probably about to get one, but there was no internet, there was no, certainly no Web 2, and the digital dimension of all kinds of politics and of temporality now simply wasn't there. So I think I've been enjoying greatly in the last few days this series of parodies popping up on YouTube of the America First. Can I just ask how many people have watched some of these? Oh, good. My students scared me this morning. They hadn't seen any. These videos are wonderful because each of them is, the good ones, are meticulously critical of their own nation. They're not just laughing at Trump, although that's very easy to do, and it's still funny. You have to get your spirit up somehow. But what is really, really interesting in the good ones is the critique of the second or third candidate. I think there's one that goes, America first, Lithuania third. And here we have Muslim world second, so they're not all nations. And an excellent one is America first, Mordor second, Mordor being the evil empire in Lord of the Rings. So each of these is localistic. You can't know whether people who make them are linked to social movements or not. That's the point, you know. You could say a cranky old person response would be, well, you know, they just sat in their room and threw this video together. They're not social movement people. Maybe they did, maybe some of them did, but you don't know that. You don't know who they are. That's the whole point of this type of psychic activism. So, no internet. Secondly, social movements, I think, have actually proliferated relative to the early 1990s and certainly to the 1970s, which is when I was a social movement person. But I think they've changed. There's so many different kinds of social movements now, not just in terms of the categories that they use to create their space, but their strategies and what they do. Some of them are completely online. Third, the context for parasitism has changed, in part as a result of our efforts. I mean, we have created institutional space, which now, as Teju discusses in her introduction to the book or the Inter-Asia Reader with Wang Xiaoming, now people are being graduated with degrees in cultural studies, and they have different ones to the ones they keep hearing about, the good old days. But above all, the university itself has changed massively in these 25 years of growth. The university, pruned and shaped in many ways by neoliberal policy, and I'll mention a couple of those shortly, has enormously expanded. It has soaked up unemployment figures for a very, very long time. A lot of young people now go to university rather than immediately being on the unemployment statistic. But more importantly, and before you get cynical about that, in regions of deindustrialization or where the farming economy has collapsed, in Australia in particular, regional universities are the major employers in the area. The parents work for the university and for its various extensions, and not necessarily in menial roles. Every time we complain about managerialism, and there's a great deal to complain about in neoliberal audit culture and the damage it does to our minds, you also need to think of the labour force and the people who come and do the lower end and middle end management work. University is an employer and an industry, and it hooks right into the community. And I think it is self-indulgent to pretend that it isn't, that you're in some alienating cigar smoking space. If you are, it's your fault, not the university's. The university